Hello and welcome from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, home to the Canadian Grand Prix, for today's qualifying session. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. Varsandi, Hamilton.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
It's been a great qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race? You didn't spend much time practicing. Are you saving your car for the main event?
Appreciate your time.
Well done. Very solid result. You're looking good for the race.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
To see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Varsandi lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Verstappen, Butler, Bottas, Raikkonen, and Kevin Magnussen. Weber, Grosjean, Lance Stroll and Giovinazzi, Russell, Fiat, Robert Kubica and Daniel Ricciardo. Norris, they've taken a grid penalty, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs. Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch. That's a strong start. Well done. lap for the race. Leading our teammate by 8.6 seconds. A new strategy is available on the MFD. Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the mediums. Box. We're coming in this lap. Caution. Don't forget, box this lap. Go now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Bottas is up in first place. Lance is in for his stop. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. and is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Our gap behind is 2.4 seconds. There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. Gap to teammate behind is 21.7 seconds. Behind. The gap to the car behind is 2.0 seconds. They're on old mediums. The time last lap was a 1:16.1. This is your final lap of the race. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining. Nice work, that's P1. Race win. Well done.
That was brilliant stuff from Racing Point today. What a superb victory. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
The Racing Point team will be very happy with today's performance and the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork, and a well-deserved first-place finish. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Varsandi increases their championship lead. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Lance Stroll certainly put in an impressive performance today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Things are looking up after last week, aren't they? You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? That was a good race for Lucas. Are you pleased to see him doing well? That was a close finish. How are things between the two of you?
Appreciate your time.